Herman Schrader on the Dirty Mo Media platform from the middle of America in St. Louis, Missouri starts right now. I mean, right away to NASCAR hot topics. What is in the water? We've talked about Tony Stewart and Leah having babies, and now another timely off-season baby, Eric Jones. Eric Jones and wife Holly have a baby boy on November 27th. He just gets around to announcing it to everybody. David Wayne Jones, another baby boy. So my question to you, Kenny, can we time these babies for off-season babies?
Well, I only have 2 babies, but they were born December 19th and the 31st.
Oh, come on.
Yes, and I thought that was because my buddies Mike and Bobby Seymour used to come down for Darlington weekend. I thought that's what the thing was there. I didn't have anything to do with the racing.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Now listen, I'm gonna venture into a territory that only I would go to. My wife believes that sometimes there is thoughts that the heat of a race car driver's body. Have you heard this?
I have come in before pit stop. Now, this is a joke, I think.
Yeah. Could be true.
But there was some people who had tough time getting pregnant.
Right.
And, you're in the car. It's 140 degrees, whatever. And your certain parts of your body hang outside your body because the sperm
Yep.
gets killed by the heat. And I remember coming in the pits when we were trying to have a baby.
Yeah.
And this is back in 1900 something, where they shoved the pole in the window in front of the window net with a cup holder on there.
Yep.
And you go to reach for the first cup, and they turn it over real quick so it'd spill in your lap, and then they'd give you another cup to drink.
Oh my gosh!
That's what I remember that happening.
It's not embarrassing. It's not embarrassing. Let me tell you why. I had a very, very good NASCAR champion friend of mine. Yeah, he said, "Yeah, me and my wife having a tough time getting pregnant." And I said, "Well, when you're done making love, you need to hold your wife upside down."
Okay. Okay, so what's the hot topics other than the babies? We don't need to go there.
I wonder if they're going to keep this in or will they edit it out?
I hope they edit it out.
No, because it's embarrassing. Okay. Wow. Well, congratulations to Eric Jones and wife Holly on the baby boy, David Wayne. That makes 2 more race car drivers in the off season.
Don't have to be boys.
You're right. Ooh, good job.
Don't have to be boys.
Kenny Schrader with a shout out to the girl racers. Speaking of girl racers,
we had one last week that was hot topic, and another.
Yep. Speaking of hot topics with girls, Jade Avedizian, she got roughed up at the BC 39. She's taking a little time off. And Kenny, that's not all my notes, but she was out there, and she's out there at Ventura a couple weeks ago, and she says, "Yep, I'm healing up." Those open wheel midgets. It's that time of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, you can ring your bell on anything, but those things will ring your bell pretty loud sometimes.
Yeah, Jade Avedizian, she is the real deal. She can flat drive a race car. So heal up, Jade Avedizian. All right, we are moving in to territory that people always ask us about, Kenny, and we're finally just going to talk about it on the Herman Schrader Show. How many times has somebody asked you, "What's your favorite NASCAR track?" And I said, "Okay, we're finally going to answer this." But Kenny, I want you to elaborate. It doesn't even got to be the track. It could be the surrounding areas, and you can break it down any way you want.
Well, your favorite tracks wind up being ones that you run good at, or you've had some success at. But I used to love, nothing was better than going down to Daytona for Speed Week.
Oh,
because first off, you go someplace and you're there for almost 2 weeks back in the day. I mean, it was almost a 2 week deal, and it was like being at home because you weren't moving around. Most of the places you'd fly in Thursday night, fly out Sunday night, but you go down there, it was almost 2 weeks. It was great. So I always enjoyed that. Plus, back in the day, if a purse was $1 million someplace else and it was 5 million at Daytona, well, hell, I just soon run for 5 million. And those
yeah.
are small numbers compared to now what they pay. Always liked Phoenix because that was the
Yeah.
first place I went to where I really went out of town to go racing. We went out there. I think first Cup race was there in '88, I believe. 88 or 9, I think 88. But we went out there first time in '79 just to race and just always liked that. Went out there for years to run in January, Copper Classic. And I liked running Bristol because when
Yeah.
you were hooking around Bristol pretty good, you could get in a rhythm, man. And it was just, man, you could run so many laps so quick. You just in a rhythm. I mean, it was simple.
I listened to you talk about Phoenix. Is there a little bit of feel good with you in Phoenix? Because I mean, the day that Manzanita was open, right? The track right down the road, the dirt track. Does that weigh into? I mean, it kind of makes me
No,
happy.
yeah.
No?
I mean, it just, I liked Phoenix, the big track.
Yeah.
Um, I never did. I only ran Manzanita 3 or 4 times. Like broke a shoulder and a collarbone there one time.
Jesus.
That wasn't a good day. Run second in the USAC midget feature there one time, driving for Strikers out of Ohio. Um, ran late mile there once. Turned over JJ Yaley's daddy's midget. No, I turned over Jack Schrader's midget there. I run JJ's daddy's one time. Cactus Jack ran his midget there one time. Turned over Jack Schrader's, no relation. Uh, so that place wasn't that good to us, but the big track was.
So this makes me happy because I've always struggled. I've had a love-hate relationship with Loudon, New Hampshire. I won the Bud 300 there in Xfinity car, but then came back that year and tried to kill myself. So that Manzanita track, I know, and that's another story for another day, but you've tried to kill yourself at Manzanita,
It
haven't
was.
you?
It seemed like a big deal.
Oh yeah. It was.
got,
It
got
was.
to go to first night. I got to spend in intensive care. It was pretty neat. I mean, it wasn't
Oh,
that neat, but it was.
okay,
You know,
let's keep hold on. If I don't pull this out of you, the fans are going to be upset. This is a little bit. Let's keep going on that. So, tell me about
so
this.
we turned over, kept turning over. I knew. I mean, it just kept turning over. It was a non-wing sprint car, and it stops, and they get my helmet off me, and I can't see anything.
Oh Lord.
Nothing. It's black. I said, "Ooh,
Mm,
this is not. This is not good." So I heard a familiar voice, Leland McSpadden. Excellent.
legendary.
Yeah, excellent race car driver. Won everything. I asked him if my eyes were open because I had reached up to my one eye and something over here hurt. And I reached up with my other hand to my other eye and something over here hurts. I had broke stuff from both sides. And he said, "Yeah, your eyes are wide open." And I'm like, "Oh man, this ain't good." I said, "Leland, I can't see anything." He said, "Don't worry about it." He said, "I've had that happen to me a couple times."
Jesus,
So
Lord.
we're trucking out of the racetrack in the ambulance, and I'm laying there, and the guy that was working on me, which I just had junk broke, I was okay,
Stop it
and
now. You were
he's
broke
he
up.
he I said, "Have you got a beard?" He said, "Yeah." And Leland's in the ambulance. He said, "Stop!" What the hell? And they stopped and they said, "What's wrong back there?" And said, "Nothing." He said, "I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna stay and watch the feature. I'll come up and see you later, Kenny." And so he came up later, but
He knew you were all right.
yeah, there's a little
it,
more to the story that can't go into right here, but it was pretty exciting the next day.
but there is you open wheel guys, you are another level. You guys are like Evil Knievel because you flip and you call it tipping. You got so we spin out in asphalt and you guys flip in open wheel. And when I'm with you, I see that whole open wheel crowd. They give you so much respect. They come up to you. I'm like, oh my
Well,
God,
it
that was the
was
way it
just part of the
was.
deal. You were going to turn over. You knew that.
But I
They
mean,
paid you.
well, yeah, but I
Didn't have to
mean,
get a job.
Leland McSpadden, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you guys even knew what to expect in your injuries because I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I remember you coming through Valley Park with no whites in your eyes.
Yeah, but that was normal. I mean, it's easy to do that. Babies fall out of cribs, mess up their eyes, and break collarbones and stuff. It's not that hard to do.
Race fans, he plays it all down. To me, it's like death and destruction. And he's like, we just broke a what? Okay, I'll end it like this. What bones have you broken in only an open wheel?
Nah, nothing bad. Nothing
Nothing,
bad. Just
nothing
little
bad.
stuff. Nothing bad.
Okay, we'll just stay right on course here. So, well, I guess I have to answer my tracks. Uh, I'm like you. I don't know what it is about me in Phoenix. When I land in Phoenix, I just get happy. I don't know if it's because the weather's always really nice. Uh, I love Phoenix, and I love the challenge of that racetrack. I like, that them corners, one's sharp, the other one's wide. And so how can I enter this corner to get off this corner? I just
Yeah. You have a
really
lot of
like it.
options there that you don't have at other places.
Yeah, well put. Well put. You can really we call it mop the track up, try all these different routes. And I just like it out there. Of course, there is some good dirt racing out there. I I'm like you. I think it's very sentimental. I think it's very emotional going to Daytona. The world center of speed, Chris Economaki, ABC Wide World of Sports. I mean, we grew up, with the Daytona 500 and Bobby Allison, Donnie Allison, Kale. And like you say, the bars on A1A, and it just,
I
the
don't know anything about
restaurants.
that.
I
Maybe
almost, I almost
maybe when
stopped.
we went and tested
Yeah.
during
I'm like,
testing, I'd heard about some of the teams going there.
yeah. Respond right here, everybody. What is your
Yeah.
favorite? Okay, two things. What was your favorite bar at Daytona Speedweeks, and what was your favorite restaurant? Could be two different things, or it just could be your RV, which it is a good time. So I'm kind of like you, Kenny. I'm gonna pick a third one, but Daytona and Phoenix, yes, they're my jam. And this is crazy scary. That Bristol race, I always tell everybody, I say, when I'm done with NASCAR, like done, I could see myself going to Bristol as a fan, in an RV, beautiful part of the country. And man, I'll tell you what, that New Hampshire bunch up there, I know you got some great open wheel people up there around Boston, but New Hampshire was good and ugly to me. It's got a place in my heart. Uh, you
Well,
know,
the Bear family, Bob and when they built that place, it was
yeah,
wow. You mean we're building a mile out here in what appeared to me the middle of nowhere? Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, is they really did a jam up job there.
Yeah. Well, there you go, everybody. It doesn't mean that we don't like the other tracks, but those are tracks that we land at and we're like, hey, the weather's good. Oh, we're gonna have a good time. But yeah, I'm with you. I think Daytona's number one because it is just, it's really a family orientated deal. We grew up going there, and
Yeah, Daytona though back in the day it was like being here, but there's some bad stuff can happen down here, and
oh
I
man,
mean it did a lot of years,
yeah,
So
yeah,
it was always
yeah.
like going there, but like leaving too.
That is a good point. We always did say when we always called it the Daytona 500 champion, not the winner, because it was like the race was on its own, like the Indy 500. And then, it's funny because when the Indy 500 is over, they're like, oh, you guys, you IndyCar guys, you keep racing, you know? And I kind
Yeah.
of feel like the 500 in Daytona. It's like, okay, the Daytona 500 is over. Now we're going to start real racing.
Yeah. Now we start real racing.
That was kind of,
Just
that was,
yeah, just 35 more weeks.
yeah, we're going to let off.
Points weeks. Yeah.
We're going to, yeah. All right. So hopefully we answered your question, everyone. Speaking of open wheel, the biggest automotive show in hardcore race car parts. And boy, you are a staple there. Everybody looks forward to you. The PRI show is
PRI.
coming up this weekend.
Mhm.
Tell me about
Yeah.
that PRI show.
Well, there's different industry shows. SEMA's obviously a huge one, but for automobile racing, not for building custom cars or hot rods or whatever, just for automobile racing, whether it's road racing or any kind of circle track, open wheel, dirt, pavement, anything, drag racing. PRI's got it. I mean, that's just where the hardcore racing products are. Trucks, trailers, sanctioning bodies, all the parts, the builders. I mean, it's just, you want to find out something, it's at PRI if you want to see the new stuff.
Yeah. And I hate to do this to you, but they have breakout meetings also. They have big functions, and you are a big part of it. You give everybody an award every year, Racer of the Year. Tell
Well,
me a little bit
yeah,
about that.
it's a real racer, but it's Speedway Illustrated started it. And they asked me if I'd be involved. And this is maybe the 13th year we've done it. We do it Thursday evening, like 5 o'clock, right after the show. And people are nominated for the Real Racer of the Year award. It doesn't have to be, and traditionally, it's not the guy that won 30 races or, won 2 different championships. Usually it's someone that beat and banged and put up with all kinds of problems to keep racing,
Yeah.
So it's we've enjoyed doing it.
Yeah. Warmed my heart. Made me real happy when you chose Mike Hammerly here in St. Louis, because
Yeah.
he made more parts by himself. When we would look at his race car, it's like, oh my God. And
Yeah.
he would win. And he
Yeah.
made everything himself.
Well, I don't choose anybody. It's about 6 of us that come up with the winner. So,
Yeah.
but we've enjoyed doing it.
Yeah. Well, there it is, everyone. The PRI show this weekend. Make sure you go to Indianapolis. And by the way, from what I hear, they party nonstop. That
Really?
road.
I've never really noticed that up there. I guess I have to look around, see if there's something going on up there this week.
What is the name of that one street that's just bar after bar? I don't know the name of it, but there's one street there that they're just every door. It's a good time. So go to the PRI show. Okay. We kind of mix and match in here. We talked about Eric Jones and PRI and what are our favorite tracks. I think these are NASCAR hot topics. One that happened about a month ago that kind of, people act like they don't care. I don't care. She's gone now. But boy, I tell you what, any scrolling you do, any articles you read, they get record ratings, they get record reviews. People do care, and they're lying when they say they don't, about Hailie Deegan. Hailie Deegan left NASCAR. Of course, that's another argument. The smart asses always say, she got fired. Well, whatever. Joey Logano didn't do any better in that car either. But she left NASCAR, Kenny, and I talked to her on Kenny Conversation. But she left NASCAR to go to IndyCar NXT, which if you do good in IndyCar NXT, it's like the NASCAR Busch Series. The next thing is, the Indy 500. There's a thought, and she said that the whole family talked about it. She says it takes her a while to get up to speed. She's not a natural talent. She admitted it, but she said that it would be harder for the guys to wreck her. Because you see these highlights in NASCAR where they just turn her. They just wreck her. She feels like when she goes IndyCar NXT, it will be harder for the men to just wreck her. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's harder to wreck anybody in an open wheel car, and you not be involved more. Usually you're involved too. I got to race with Hailie. I don't know how many times, not a lot, but in the SRX series,
Yeah.
where it wasn't, to the best of our ability in the whole SRX group, it wasn't different teams and different caliber of cars and different crews. Everything was pretty well matched.
Yeah, head to
And
head.
yeah, and she fairly hauled ass, and did a great job. So it'll be curious to see. That's a hell of a learning curve to go to a different vehicle like that. But she's young enough that shouldn't be set in her ways like some people that run the stock car type vehicle for a number of years. She ought to be able to adapt quick. So it'd be curious to see. But from when I have run with her, she got a lot of talent.
Yeah. That's the how would I say it? Enigma? People are like, boy, when she runs those SRX cars, I mean, she ran really good. She just did. I mean, you look at Knoxville, Iowa on the big dirt track. She
Yeah.
excels on dirt, doesn't she?
Well, she's run good on dirt. I don't think her background was a ton of dirt, but I don't know 100%. But yeah, she won a couple. I know she won at least one. I think a couple Winston West race. One at Vegas, I know for sure, on the dirt. But she ran good every place. She was, when we had SRX at Peevely, she was hauling butt there, and it got hot on her. And she was a really good racer because she couldn't convince her that black flag or the radio comments were for her to pull in because she didn't want to quit. But yeah, she got a lot of talent.
All right, everybody. Hailie Deegan is going to the IndyCar NXT. I think her father said it best, Brian Deegan. Brian said to me, and I want to hear what you got to say about this. He said, Brian Deegan said, I don't think NASCAR is ready for a successful girl race car driver. That's a dad saying that about his daughter. I mean, what do you think?
Oh, I don't believe that. I mean, I think about it some, but I don't. NASCAR's ready for whoever the next successful driver is. I got to believe that there was nothing that Daytona Beach would like better than for a female to be climbing out with some consistency of these vehicles in victory lane. Yeah. Who wouldn't want that?
My God, I mean, that'd be incredible media.
That'd be huge. Now you've said this lots of times about thousands of good racers throughout the country.
Earnhardt said it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there is. We know that. And only what percentage of them are even going to get to run at Cup or Xfinity or whatever, or truck. And then what percentage of them are actually going to get to frequent victory lane at, some kind of frequency. So now if we take all those thousands of drivers and then we take just the female drivers, well, the chances are just, statistically it's just not near the chance. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean they can't. But
Right. Yeah.
I don't. I believe that NASCAR would love to have a female getting out of the car at Daytona 500. Oh my gosh! Or any Xfinity race or any truck race, they'd love to have it.
Yeah. And Danica Patrick would agree with you because when she pretty much quit racing, she come out with a really controversial, but everybody agreed with her. Like 2 years ago, she said, "Listen, it's it's just well stated. It's easier for a man to win in racing because it's tough, it's hard. There are races that we've been young and we come out of that car like a noodle, a wet noodle. But Danica, go to her. She has said some more newsworthy, trustful things now that she's been able to look back on it. But anyway, listen, do good, Hailie Deegan. We are cheering you on. Hey, Kenny, one thing she said that made me laugh. I said, what were some of the things you had to get used to? She says, I've never had just air blow on my face. She goes, and making sure you get the right little bitty spoilers on your helmet. She goes, I first got on and the helmet tried lifting up off my head. She said it was choking me.
Oh,
So,
in the open wheel car, you
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
IndyCar, NXT, she said that was really different when she first got into it. That shocked
Mhm.
her. She likes the air, but the helmet tried lifting up off her head.
Yeah,
And
I could
the
see that.
put little spoilers on it and get it,
Mhm.
the helmet back down
Yeah.
on your head. Thought that was very interesting. All right, Hailie Deegan going to IndyCar, and we gave you our thoughts. So, something that happened uh, on social media. I'm
Oh
guilty.
boy, social
Yeah,
media.
yeah, but this is the good one. I'm picking the good stuff. Um, I don't waste my time on the silly stuff. Um,
You don't. Well, never mind. I won't even go there. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so
Yeah, you don't want
I
to be silly.
I
Okay.
am I am guilty. I am guilty of bragging on NASCAR. So the fans don't like it. Uh, so I said NASCAR just signed a $7.7 billion contract with TV. NASCAR's not going anywhere. NASCAR is not dying. So this man on social media catches my eye. He's rightfully devastated. He says, Kenny Wallace. Now, he came on social media because he wanted to vent. He said, you said NASCAR is not dying, but it is dying because I have a NASCAR type store and I sell NASCAR souvenirs. And on Black Friday, I only sold 2 Joey Logano championship hats. And I kind of thought that was I know he was upset, but I thought that was kind of funny because I'm thinking, okay, nobody likes Joey Logano, but you sold Joey Logano hats. So he said NASCAR is dying because nobody is coming to the stores to buy any diecast. Now, I'm going to set you up here. I told him I loved him and I was sorry. I said the diecast industry is dead because they diluted it. They got greedy. They were supposed to build, 5,000 Dale Jr. diecast and they built 20,000. How would you have responded to that, man? NASCAR's dying because I didn't sell any product on Black Friday.
Well, I wouldn't have been on social media for to see what he said, so I wouldn't have had to respond. But okay, and like this goes back to those, sometimes if I see like I don't know anything about baseball either, but I watch some of them. They show those highlight plays, where these
Yeah.
guys do amazing stuff. The other day was one where the batter's slugging something right back to the pitcher, and he somehow catches it and stuff, behind his back, all kinds of things. But I look at those bleachers at those games. Holy hell! Some of them are terrible.
Mm.
You know. So where is baseball dead? Now
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Our world's got plenty of issues. NASCAR has their issues also, but it's none that's going to drive them out of business.
Yeah. It might be a little lesser, everybody, but I also feel like
we're trending the right way.
Yeah.
We're trending the right way. Small. That's okay. I just went small. It's hard to do that with my thumb.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Show everybody.
That's just short. It's just
That's
short.
a story. That's a story.
I told Dale Inman one time, he said, "What are you going to do before qualifying?" I said, "Put a pound air in the right front and drop the track bar half inch." And he looked at me, he grabbed my hand. I said, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I got to move him closer." But
Kenny Schrader does not have a thumb, everybody.
Well, so I got a thumb. It's just short. Yeah, it's just short. I'm more careful where I stick it now, though.
Oh, let's say that for another story.
Oh yeah, let's tell stories.
But yeah, I mean, when you judge the sport, first of all, Amazon. I mean, hardly anybody goes to stores to buy things anymore. Everything's. I would have told the man, buy your diecast over the internet. That's pretty brave now to have a brick and mortar store to sell specifically NASCAR items. Yeah, I don't know about that. I would not do it. I would create who R&R does your t-shirt sales. You do good over the internet, right?
Yeah, R&R Sportswear, Valley Park, Missouri.
Yep, R&R, and mine is Race Ranch. And I think it's funny because Race Ranch gets their your people make my product. Mm-hmm. So they all work together. Okay, moving on. So many stories in NASCAR and all other types of sports. But this one is worthy of talking about because this is kind of sad, but there's a little meanness to it. Irish Saunders with Hoosier tires for 43 years. And I know how close you and him are.
Yeah.
Do you want to take the story from here?
Well, he's been, first off, he's getting closer to aging out.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been there like a long time. He's been through, I mean, you think about what Hoosier is now and what it was 43 years ago. But he got yelled at a USAC sprint car race, I believe, or not USAC, but a sprint car race at IRP this year. He got yelled at and shoved about the quality of the Hoosier tires. And I think that did him in.
That's
as
sad.
Far as he just, it's very sad. He's been there for a long. First off, it's bad that anyone would treat anybody that about a product just because they worked there.
Yeah,
but Hoosier's Irish has been a big part of Hoosier, been a face of Hoosier for a number of years. So I guess when this person was walking out the tunnel, Irish was who they saw and they took it out on him.
I say that in life we have turning points. It's like, I'm thinking like this and it won't take much. You know what I mean? We're going to have Irish on Kenny Conversation and we're going to get to the bottom of it. But we do know that we just want to give a shout out to Irish on Herman Schrader's show. Irish, good man, always happy, always at all the big tire tests. And a man loses his mind and shoves. How old is Irish?
Yeah, 63, maybe something like that.
Yeah, push a 63-year-old man down because he's making the tires. I mean, but I don't know. To me, it's just like he's a good guy. Why would you do that to him?
Well, why would you do that to anybody?
Anybody.
But,
yeah, just not right, everybody. So shout out to Irish. He says,
so he's going to retire.
Say he's going to retire.
He's going to retire.
He'll be somewhere in the sport. He knows too much, and he'll be running a racetrack or something.
He ran a racetrack for a number of years. He won't be doing that.
Okay, he won't be doing.
He won't be doing that. I don't believe so. I talk to Irish frequently about that, amongst other things. But he's over the racetrack business.
Yeah. Moving on. The Snowball Derby just got over, and I thought that it would be a bigger topic because to talk about the cheating scandals and the cheating ways of the Snowball Derby. Let me just set it up like this, Kenny. We know years ago, I mean, they just cheated their butts off. We also know that Chase Elliott won the Snowball Derby, but was found illegal over a technicality. Now, it was a rule. He had tungsten. Yeah. Here, Chase Elliott wins the Snowball Derby, but he had tungsten, which was a weight, and he should have had lead. So, do you mind giving everybody a synopsis of why tech inspection is so rough, so hard at the Snowball Derby?
We do this every week. It comes up for some reason. Everybody has problems when they enforce a rule. What Snowball Derby? They enforce the rules. They do an excellent job. When you go through that room of doom or whatever you want to call it, but when you get you passed inspection there, believe me, your stuff was checked. Now we go places, you and I go places where they look at your right rear tire and they see what the car weighs and you passed. You won the race. That's not checking much. Now I know you can't check everything all the time, but at Snowball Derby, they take a damn good effort to check everything. And it's great.
And it's just the history.
Yeah. Now, when I say it's great, that's just my opinion, and we all know what opinions are like.
But no, you're right, because back in the day, I had to soak my tires. I soaked them and I ran around there almost wide open and qualified 6th. And
Neil Bonnet took David down there one time, and he wants him. Man, if they could qualify, didn't top 20 used to lock in?
Yeah, they were locked in. Yeah, top 20.
And he said he had him soaked up pretty good and had a carburetor on there, and said, man, if I could get him qualify like, 18th, 19th, really be good. And he qualified, 5th or 6th or something. He said, just bring it over to trailer. Just bring it over to trailer. Let's load her up. We can't be checking stuff because we know how this is going to work out. So,
yeah. And then the legendary stories where one story, and we're talking about why tech inspection is so tough. It's because back in the day, it is the biggest asphalt short track race in America. Everybody agrees on that. And it got to where it's at because it stands on its own merits in December. The weather's usually pretty decent, but one of the craziest stories I ever heard was he wasn't real little, but he was little enough to go up and be in the car as the car was going across the scales. And, they didn't weigh after qualifying, I take it. So they put a little man up in the car, went across the scales. The car went off across the scales, and he was able to just kind of, fall, and the car went on, and of course, the back of the cars were, you could just get away with it, but
climb up on top of the fuel cell.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And the stories go on, but soaking your tires back then, those were the days. And buddy, when you say soak, they took them from 60, you would press them and they were 60. And people were getting them down to 30, 25, 30.
The only time I ever went Snowball was in 92. And we wound up 4th.
Oh, damn.
That's the only time
Good
I
run.
went. Yeah.
Good run.
Timmy Cahuth was in. We had a brand new Featherlight 48-foot trailer. Timmy Cahuth was in there shaking, mixing up some stuff in the fuel. And Hampke was rolling soaking tires up front, and somebody walked in with a cigarette. I said, "Get the hell out of here! You blow this trailer all the way up. We got so much chemicals in here." But that's just what you had to do.
Yeah, you had to do it. So, Snowball Derby, we can go on for days and do maybe a whole show on the Snowball Derby. And I need to get Gary Saint Amant on Kenny Conversation. He's won it a couple times. Rich Bickle. I mean, they've made some legends down there. And okay, the Dome just got over. Dirt inside the Dome. This was something that has been tried and tried in the past. They, of all the Dome races, whether Pontiac Silver Dome up in Detroit, races here and there, and they just never worked. Now, the Gateway Dirt Nationals here in St. Louis, inside the Dome, it's going on its 8th year. These dirt super late model drivers, they choose to go knowing that it ain't going to turn out real good. What is the appeal, Kenny?
I see no appeal.
Yeah.
I see no appeal. That's why we have never went as far as going. Now, we will have a shop full of people out here. We'll have some out Thursday. We'll have some Friday. And we had a good crowd. It grows as the weekend goes on because it is a very entertaining event to watch. And they've had some good racing there. They've had some hellacious hole jumping contests too, where you just jump from hole to hole. But it has grown. It's gotten bigger. It has a fantastic crowd. It doesn't have near the people that everyone thinks it has, but it's great crowd. It's great. And I watch every bit of it. I just got no desire to be there racing it, but there's no way I'm not going to be watching it.
Yeah. We all know that they have figured out now how to make the track smooth, but we've raced on it very smooth and it's very boring to the fans. So they have said, look, we're going to put the water to it and we know it's going to be rough now. And the drivers are like, okay, we're still coming back. You look at these guys. Do you think, okay, something inside my mind thinks, okay, it's in December. It's such a spectacular event that you just feel like, do they feel like they have to be there?
Well, first off, let's debull this thing. They're all not there.
Yeah, true.
There's a handful of the guys there.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of people that just want to be there. But there's a handful of now there is a handful, but that's the handful of the guys, the real,
and it's not, we know it's not real racing. It's like when the event gets over, it's forgot about. It is great highlight reels. I call it, do you agree that I say it is a theatrical event?
Yes. Yeah, is definitely. It's entertainment, which is that's all our sport is. It's all any sport is, entertainment, and it can be very entertaining.
Okay, the Dome. It is a theatrical event. It is must see. Go. Of course, it just got over, but man, what an event! And it's magical. And they're starting to open up that second tier. We're thinking there's 15,000 people there. And they're going to have to open up the second, row up on top. They did last year.
It's a big crowd. It is a big crowd and has continued to grow, which is neat to see.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to go into stories. I'm going to tell a quick one, and finally, everybody has waited for this one, and it's kind of, if it's not funny to me. I have made a big deal. I will admit it. I have bragged on myself. I have announced to the world, look at me. I have no help. I'm doing this by myself. It was my strategy to ram it down everybody's throat.
And damn good job you've done.
Yeah. So I want to tell you why. And I talked to Joey about this, your crew chief, and Joey agrees with me because Joey ran across same little, you know, little deal that I run across. So when you are a NASCAR driver and you try to go race these guys on a local level, they do not like it. And listen, this is my story, and what I'm saying is what I've gone across. So when I moved back to St. Louis, I came back here really because I love St. Louis. I love everything it has to offer. I'm a ball and stick guy. I like baseball, football. I like hockey. And then I also came back here really to dirt race. And my wife knew that, and she was ready to come back here. When I came back here, they hated me. And it was a shocking blow to me. I just it really hurt me. It really did. Now I'm not crying. I'm telling you why I work on my stuff myself. I could not get over that my own locals hated me. And capital HAT. Now you know this too, because I know you've been through a little bit of it, and I'm not going to speak for you because I know your stories and I know they're true. I've watched them with my own eyes. So as I stayed here, it pissed me off more and more that here I was coming back here to race with my friends, but they thought I was too good for them. Wallace, you're wealthy. You're too good for us. Why are you racing with us? Well, something happened little by little that I didn't plan on. Billy Smith, my crew chief, he quit because he wanted to have a baby. So, they did in vitro and he left me because he needed a normal job. I looked up one day and I was the only one in the truck. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it all myself and shove it right down their throat. So I still had these guys mad at me. They were still mad at me up until like a year ago. And I said, I'm just going to do it all myself. You know why? Because I can't find anybody to help me right. Everybody I find, it's like you got to show them what to do. Then you train them. Then they end up being depressed and on medication, and you got to bail them out.
Are you that rough to be around that you depress
Yes,
everybody?
I'm a prick. And so I've had employees. I've had 3 employees, and they just don't work out. It never works out. And the reason I do everything myself, and the granddaddy of them all is coming up here, but nobody can do it as good as I can do it. I've always built my own race cars, and you know that I've always done everything myself. When I ran ASA, I did everything myself. I've always done everything myself. And the real reason I brag that I do everything myself and my strategy worked. Now, you know what happens when I go to the racetrack? Michael Long comes up to me. Herman, can I help you? Austin Becerra. Herman, can I help you? Do you know those two some hated me? They hated me. And now all of a sudden, when I show up at the racetrack by myself, they finally see that I am a race car driver. And now I might go get some help now that I've proved my point. And that is the reason I just wanted to shove it square up there. It's kind of like me walking into a fabrication area. Boys, don't make me grab the welder, okay? Because I'll show you up. And they know it. So I just decided to put this to bed once and for all. And now nobody messes with me anymore. Joey Walsh is a big fan of mine. Of course, we all talk crap about each other behind each other's back. But Joey agrees with me.
Most of the time when we talk crap, it's in front of each other.
Yeah, but Joey said it right. When I told Joey the reason, I said, Joey, why does Kenny Schrader have such a problem with me bragging? And he goes, well, I know what you're going through. He said, when I raced, he says, I caught the same grief because they thought since me and Kenny Schrader were so tight that you were giving Joey everything. So he could never get any respect because he was, there was this theory that Kenny Schrader's giving Joey everything, even though we know that's not the total truth.
Joey does all the work.
Right. So anyway, I held up on telling that story for a while because it's not a fun story. It's not a good story. But the reason I do everything myself, and just to put it to bed, is because these locals hated me. And I wanted to remind them that I can work circles around them. And I can. And I back it up. And I go to Highland by myself, unload that race car by myself, and I win the feature by myself and go to Victory Lane by myself. And they finally shut up. And that's the story. So I love you. But it finally took me to go to Victory Lane by
Well,
myself.
the only big difference might be between us
I'm listening.
when you left and you went NASCAR racing and then you came back. I never left.
Right.
I was still racing around the Midwest 25 times a year. I never left. I was still just there.
One of the greatest things you've told me, and there's no bigger fan of Kenny Schrader than me. I'm your biggest fan. And one thing you said to me, boy, that just really taught me a lesson. You said the whole time I went NASCAR, I never left. I've always had Kenny Schrader racing. So you never gave them a chance to be mad at you because you just constantly raced them. You never
I don't
left.
give a if they're mad at me or not. I just racing.
Yeah.
But I never felt that same way you did. But we're different. It don't make any difference. We're just racing.
Okay. Now that I told you the reason I did everything myself, do you at least understand me?
I understand that that's what you got going on in your mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, we all deal with issues.
Yeah. Yeah. You and I have had a lot of serious talks over the years
Yeah, we have.
about different stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, we understand each other.
I thought that would make good content, everybody. And that's why I decided to put it on the air, because I know there's somebody out there. Zach Vanderbeek calls me up. A lot of these guys, they get picked on because they got an SNS. My story is the same as a lot of these dirt racers. I don't like that guy because he's got an SNS. I'm like, well, maybe he's got a family. Maybe he wants, and maybe it makes it easier.
An
on his wife.
SNS is a truck and trailer for someone that doesn't know.
Like $1 million one,
Yeah, well, it's new now. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of our dirt racers, these guys get beat up because they're supposed to act poor. Look at him. I like him. He's poor. And the guy that's got an SNS, they don't like him. I see a lot of unfair things in dirt racing. People pick on people and they don't deserve it.
You think that's racing, or do you think that's the world?
Good point.
Okay, so now we're enough of this serious. Let's get back to doing whatever. How we get off on this?
That was me.
Well, I know how we do.
That was me.
I know. That was trying to be nice.
We've already gone way too long. Okay. You got a lot of stories. I'm going to give you 3 stories, and you can choose one. Your flip story at Sears Point, your propane story, or your thumb story. Give me a story. One of those.
We'll do Sonoma. We'll do Sonoma flip. So I'm out there. I don't know what it's 97, 8, or 9. I drove a Skull car, and Steve Park smokes into turn 1, and something broke, and he turned over, and they drug his car out. And a few laps later, or whenever later in that race, I did the same thing. Another little part here. We left Sonoma. We went snowmobiling in Montana, and Andy and Patty Petrie were with us. We had our plane out there, and he kept saying, what happened? What happened? I said, something broke. He said, man, I can't wait till that car gets home to see what it is, because there's a picture of it where it was upside down. The radiator hose was off. Ooh. He said, I wonder if the radiator hose blew off. Well, I knew what broke, because I got a little high and hung the right rear in the marbles, and it broke traction. That's the only thing that broke. So we flip over and we land upside down in a little ditch thing. It's hard to get out of those cars when you're upside down. First off, you got to really be careful taking your seatbelt off because
Oh
that's
my
a hard
God.
hit. Yeah. And it's hard to take your seatbelt off because all your weight's, you're upside down. All your weight's hanging on the belt. So anyway, I wiggle around and they had the SCCA security guys there. Not security, safety corner guys. And they were great. I said, hey, just grab I don't remember if it was my legs or on the other side or what. Just pull me out of this thing. Oh, we're not supposed to do that. I said, I'm fine. Just pull me out. So he did. They're great. They did a good job. So we got to go to the infield care center. Well, they didn't send an ambulance. They sent a crew cab with, like 6 guys in it. So I said, hell, I'll just hoof to the infield care center because that was turn 1 and it's right down there at the end of the front straightaway, best I remember. So I can run down there and go to the infield care center because you got to do that. And then I can get the hell out of here and head towards home quicker, beat traffic. So I'm in the infield care center and Heidi Stoddard, Frankie Stoddard's wife, known 32 car hero crew chief. She was did the public relations for the Skull team then. And she's in there with my wife, and the doctor asked you all these questions. You know what number car you were driving? I was 33, You know your home phone number? I said, yeah. And I give him the home phone number. You know what color your car was? I said, yeah, it's green. He looked at me and said, it's maroon. It's been green for 2 years, but it's maroon today. It's got a different paint scheme, so it's maroon. He said, do you know how many times you turned over? I said, I don't know, 1.5 or 2.5. He looked at me and said, 1 3/4. And I said, I don't know. I said, I started out my tires, ended up on my roof. What the hell is your home phone number? He let me go.
And that, everybody, is how they check your brain back in the old days. And now they got brain scans that.
Oh, only if you really ring your bell. But everybody figured those out. Well, I don't know what these tests are. They show you all these images, and then they come back, just a few seconds later, and you got to identify the images that you saw, so they can check you 6 months later after you've had something. If you ring your bell, but we found out that if you just screw that test when you take it the first time.
Oh yeah, do a little slow.
Sometimes you take a hard hit, you get better.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've heard of those stories. Didn't they tell somebody, hey, we know you're trying to do us. Nowadays, what they do, everybody, is they put these buttons up and you push them and they go, oh, brain's very active. Now, after he wrecks, try to do it again. That was funny. I heard of somebody that they tried screwing the system.
You screw the test. You make your baseline very slow, very low. A low baseline. Sometimes you wreck real hard and you're better.
Yeah, you just get smarter. All right, everybody, listen. There we did it again. Another Herm and Schrader show. We hope you
we did that already.
That was it, and it's not even noon. And now you can grab your boys and go to lunch. And that was good. And
wow,
it was a good show. It was a very good show.
Well, that was really not up to us. Well, maybe somebody will tell us if it was.
Let's put it this way. I like your stories and I like listening to you. If I think it's good, I know it's good. I'm learning more. I know a little bit about you, but I'm learning more.
Because you know more about stuff than anybody.
I'm
just being a smartass. I'm just being a smartass.
Don't go there.
Okay. Yes, sir.
No, you could go there. All right. So the PRI show, when let's end like this, Kenny. When will you arrive at the PRI show? What's your deal up there?
Wednesday night. It's show Wednesday night. They have a opening breakfast Thursday morning to go to, and then they release. I think there's like 5,000 people for breakfast.
Wow.
At least that's a
Wow.
number I've heard in the past. And they open up the show, and it's big time.
It's good. Yep. You buy a lot of stuff. All right, everybody. Herman Schrader, another one down. Until the next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.